I came across another argument, which I have to say respectfully, my dear friend in Florida, that I think it's petty. See, this is what happened. I posted a video of a Trump supporter decrying socialism. Let's use that term. Let's put a pin on the term socialism. What he calls socialism, okay? And what my friend in Miami apparently understands socialism to be. So they were decrying this system. You know, for them, they equate it to communism. And I understand, like, nobody likes that. That sucks. Nobody's asking for that. But when they hear socialism, they can't, create an abstract in their brain. No, the word has so much power that they can't go, they can move towards it, like away from it. Like they cannot observe it as something that it's malleable. No, so let's just work with the terms and let's work with the concept. So my friend was telling me, after trying, very dishonestly to move the conversation completely way off point. Like, for example, claiming that I come from a socialist country, which I don't, because Argentina is not socialist. I mean, did it go through a more socialist politics at a certain point in its history? Yes. Is it now a socialist country? Fuck no. Of course it's not a socialist country. And after Menem and Macri, I mean, if this guy would even know, I mean, my friend, you really exposed your ignorance here, because if you knew about anything about my country, like we have a president called Menem, and then we had another guy called Macri, and they were both neoliberals, a word that you didn't even know that existed. So this is how rusty your paradigm is. So let me see if I can provide some DW40. I think it's DW or WD-40. I don't know. Who cares? You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking that spray that you put in rust and makes it better. Okay, let me try this. You kept asking, how high are the taxes? Because all you're looking at is how much am I going to have to pay on taxes? What you are not, and that's petty, let me tell you, because you're not considering that there will be a lot of money that people will not have to spend, neither in medical expenses nor in education. And of course, on your side of the equation, yes, you are an older person, you already paid for your children's education. Why would you pay for somebody else's education? And even though I do have a couple of answers to that question, I don't want to digress. So let's say that you are right. Unfortunately, when it's time for a change in a paradigm, some adjustments are going to have to be made. And yes, in your case, it's not going to be as fair. But this is no longer about fairness. This is about solving problems. You're saying, like, I don't want my boat to be rocked because I'm safe here. Unfortunately, my dear friend, your safeness and your stability has a horrific price tag. So you being concerned about your own personal taxes, I personally think it's extremely petty. Because maybe, and I know you already paid for your children's education, even though I would argue that you probably used some of the social programs this country already has. Like the post office, Medicare, Social Security, whatever, just to name a few. Those are, quote, socialist, end quote, models. We want to copy that, but not by looking at Venezuela or Cuba or any petty excuse you're going to bring of the countries that didn't resolve this. And by the way, my friend, you should really know that these countries there that are doing this badly, like Venezuela and Bolivia, And the only reason why you know about them is one has petrol, oil, and the other has gas. And those are the only reasons why you hear about these countries at all. Because Guatemala has it worst, and you never mention Guatemala. Honduras has it worst, and you never gonna mention. You're only gonna mention Venezuela because all you know. I want to tell you something, my friend. Even if you don't believe this to be true, me being from Argentina and having suffered the American bullying in 1973, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Venezuela, and Bolivia are being bullied by the United States, just like Cuba was bullied by the United States. And I am sorry that you don't like to see this and you think that I don't know any about your history, because that was another of his arguments, that I don't know the history. Clearly, you don't know the history of our country. Well, clearly, you don't know the history of your country, because clearly, I do know the history of your country. And even you saying, you don't know it. Clearly, you don't know the history of my country because you think Argentina is a socialist country. And yes, when I was a little kid, I received all my education in a public school from elementary to high school and some part of my college. And it was all the time excellent quality education. I was even taught 2 languages when I was in elementary school. Kids here in the United States barely know how to speak English at this point. So you have nothing to criticize, and you have a lot to learn from people from other countries that you think that are doing so badly. You know what my friend's question was? Well, but how high were your taxes? To which I answer, I don't know how high the taxes were because I was a little kid. I was going through school. I was learning about mathematics and philosophy and shit like that. I wasn't aware about the taxes, but I did know that my father could work one job and support a family of 5. That's what I can tell you. I don't know if the taxes were higher, but I do know that they were probably very well distributed because my father never complained of having to go see a doctor. We never complained about not having a proper education. And everybody in my country had a proper education. Everybody in Argentina, in my generation, knows beyond what a very well-educated American would know, in my generation. I think what I'm trying to tell you is the least educated of my generation in my country are probably capable of getting into Harvard. And yeah, that's an exaggeration. But yes, we had an excellent public education. And you should want that for your country, even if your taxes are a little bit higher, because don't forget that as your taxes get a little bit higher, your out-of-pocket expenses go a lot lower. And guess what? If you tell me, yeah, but what if they don't? What if they get actually a lot higher? If that happened, we'll solve it. But being okay with having all these taxes that you pay and that you dearly pay, and you're so happy with how they are distributed, they are going to a military budget right now. They are on their way to pay for a drone that will drop a bomb in a brown country. That's where your money is going right now. Why is this an argument? Why is this even a conversation? Why are we trying to convince you that this is better? You have a hose of money going towards the pool of military. Meanwhile, the health pool is empty, and so is the education. We all what we want to do is that same amount of money, we want to aim it to those other pools. Why do you have a problem with that? Why do you want a big military force? Is it so you can bomb brown countries that surround Israel, for example? Huh? Why not, instead of sending money to bomb these brown countries, why don't we send money to help these brown countries? You know, similar to like what you would do if you would try to educate the citizens of your country. How about educating the citizens of other countries with education? I'm not talking about with religion. I'm not telling you go use that money and bring Christianity. No, use that money and bring biology and bring physics and bring astrophysics. That's what I'm telling you. Use that money and educate the fucking world. No, we're all using all our money that we so pay in taxes, that you are so concerned about them getting. You know what? If they go high, I would be okay if they would go higher, but never to the military budget. Even if I have to pay more just to send the whole thing to education and healthcare and infrastructure, of course, infrastructure and this economy, but not military. I would cut military at all because they already have a lot. They don't need more. They need to distribute that money wisely. Maybe instead of training soldiers to go kill other people, maybe they should train soldiers to learn diplomatic skills. Maybe they can deflect things instead of escalating things. But here I am, dreaming because I come from a socialist country. And because I am okay to paying the same amount of taxes so other people can be well and thrive, so I can live in peace, so I can live in peace. Instead of having to be surrounded by troglodytes with guns who think that Jesus Christ will take them in the big rapture. See the difference? It is a good investment. I don't know. I was thinking